Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Real Sports Updates is back again with another video. So, we all seen the game yesterday. I'm sure we were all happy with the outcome of it. Obviously, the Chargers got it done. They should have won by more, but, it is the first game of the season, so, you really can't ask for too much. They did cover the spread if you were into any betting or, if you're into any of the lines, so that is a positive. But I wanted to get into the Charger defense, right? Now, this is obviously the week to overreact to, pretty much everything that happened in week one of the NFL. And I'm not going to overreact to anything, but I do want to point some things out. And I do want to point some stuff out that is very, very obvious. If you have been watching any Charger football, over the past year, this is a very obvious thing. A lot of these things that I'm going to say are very obvious, and I'm going to point this out. So I'm going to jump right into it, right? I'm not going to waste any more time. So the number one thing, and I said this a couple of days ago in the one of the videos that when I was previewing the Raiders and Chargers in week one, the Chargers had to get pressure with 4. And that is something that they successfully did. Now, this is something that the Chargers did not do really in 2021. Almost at all, right? Most of the pressure came from Joey Bosa in 2021. There really wasn't another guy who was even close to creating the amount of pressures that Joey Bosa created. Now, obviously, this has changed. This has, changed big time. Obviously, Khalil Mack, he, had a monster game. Joey Bosa also had a really good game as well, too. But these guys have really mastered their positions right on the end. But I want to talk about the guys in the middle for a second as well. I want to give some love to Sebastian Joseph Day, Austin Johnson, Morgan Fox. When he was in the game, these guys were able to generate pressure with 4. And that was huge for the Chargers in coverage, right? Being able to drop 7 guys in coverage and not really, not have anybody, in one-on-one matchups being exposed too much. I think that was a very, very big deal. And being able to create pressure with 4 is something that you can do, from the first game of the season all the way to the last game of the season, right? It's not, too much when it would about scheme. It's just about having 4 guys who can win matchups up front. And this is something that the Chargers have. So this is something that they can do pretty much every game, right? They can always get pressure with 4 without blitzing. And I think that is one of the more crucial things for a defense that is improving and a defense that hopes, that has hopes and aspirations to be, to the top of the league, right? Hopefully top 10, possibly top 5, right? This is something that you want to have your defense do, because at that point, you can get creative with how you, match coverages on the back end, right? You can get creative with blitz packages. There's a lot you can do when you can get pressure with 4. And, good teams, good defenses, and, championship teams, right? Teams that win Super Bowls. That is one of the blueprints, for a lot of the defenses, is them being able to get pressure without blitzing. So I think that was a very, very big thing that the Chargers showed yesterday, and I am very, very happy. Very happy that they now have enough talent up front to be able to do that. That was something that the Chargers couldn't do for a very long time, but, it seems that they are going to be able to do that now. Definitely a big deal. Definitely a big deal, and I'm happy that they are able to now do that. The next thing is stopping the run, and I thought the Chargers did an okay job of stopping the run. I don't think that they were. I don't think they were great by any stretch, but I think they were good enough, right? In situations where they had to, stop guys for 4 and 5 yard gain, they were able to do that. There were some runs in the second half that Josh Jacobs had where I think the Chargers were a little bit out of place on defense. I don't know if it was the wrong call. I don't know if it was the wrong front, but it seemed like, something was going on. When the Chargers were in the right defense, they were able to stop the run, but there were a few, it seemed like miscommunications. I'll just call them miscommunications, just give them the benefit of the doubt. But there were a few runs that Josh Jacobs was able to rip off, like some bigger chunks, right? 15 yards, 18 yards. They still did not rush the ball for a lot of yardage, like total. But, those bigger runs are going to have to, get a little smaller as the season goes on, right? Those 18-yard gains, if a guy is going to hit a hole, you got to tackle him and keep him at 6 yards or 7 yards. Those 6 and 7 yard gains can't turn into 18, 20-yard gains. So that's something that I would like to see the Chargers clean up. But overall, they did stop the run the way that they were supposed to, right? The Raiders were not able to lean on it all game long. They weren't, really comfortable with it. You can tell that Josh McDaniels wasn't comfortable with it. If he was, I think he would have called a little, more runs. But the Chargers did enough defensively to stop it where, McDaniels was just content, pretty much throwing it and having Derek Carr drop back, even with the pressure. So I think they did a good enough job, but obviously they're going to have to continue to evolve and continue to get better with the run defense as the season goes along. So, they could be better there. The number 3, the DBs, what a job that they all did. They all played extremely well. Considering the matchups that they were in, they all played extremely well. Davante Adams is, one of the toughest matchups in the league. I don't think that he is the toughest matchup. I still think that is Tyreek Hill. But Davante Adams is a tough matchup because his route running is really precise. His connection, his chemistry with Derek Carr is very good. And obviously they were on the same page, right? These guys have been on the same page. They went to college together. We already know the story. But Davante put up some pretty good numbers, pretty impressive numbers. But I think the Chargers did a good enough job at the goal line, right? At the goal line in the red zone. When the Raiders came into the red zone at the goal line, they did a good enough job. The Raiders did try to look for Davante on some fade stuff. They did try to isolate him, one-on-one, really in the red zone. And the Chargers did a good enough job in the red zone, right? Asante Samuel Jr., shout out to him. Bryce Callahan, he played a hell of a game. And even Michael Davis, too. They all did a pretty good job when it mattered, right? And this is something that I talked about, in a lot of videos in the offseason. Situational football, right? This is where the good teams really separate themselves from the great teams, right? You cannot play well throughout the entire game, right? And, on the other end, you can play really well throughout the entire game, but there are going to be situations in games where you need to make stops. There's going to be situations where you need to get the offense off the field. And if you're able to do that, you're more than likely going to be able to win a lot of games. And I think the Chargers were good situationally. And to me, that is one of the one of the more underrated things that's not going to, going to be talked about a lot this weekend. But situational football was good. Last year was not great. There were a few games where it was kind of disastrous, but the situational football has improved. And I think that was probably one of Brandon Staley's points of emphasis, going into the season. Situationally, the Chargers have to be good because they're going to put up stats. They're going to get all of their, stats. They're going to get sacks, right? We all expected them to be better at the run, but situationally, defensively, can you get off the field on third down? And there were many times where the Chargers got off the field. They turned the Raiders over, were able to create pressure, get sacks. That was great football to me, the situational football. I love it, and that's what wins in the playoffs. So, that is definitely a huge, major plus, and I can't say enough about the effort that the Chargers put in yesterday. The defense created turnovers, right? I just went over that. Now, looking forward to this Week 2 matchup with the Chiefs on Thursday. Defense is one of the things that travels, right? Good defenses travel. They show up everywhere, right? Doesn't matter where you're playing. You can play on the moon. A good defense is going to show up and play on the moon. So I think this matchup is very intriguing. This is going to have all the eyes of the NFL, especially after the performance by the defense. This is going to be a very intriguing matchup with the Chiefs. I'm obviously going to get more into it as the week goes along, but just just looking at it from the standpoint now, I think the Chargers they put the blueprint out there to slow the Chiefs down. They obviously scored a lot of points yesterday against the Cardinals. The Cardinals do not have near the defensive talent that the Chargers do, so I'm not really worried from that standpoint. It's going to be interesting to see how the Chargers are able to create pressure, to continue to create pressure, right? Hopefully with just 4, but the second reaction plays. Is there going to be a plan there? Because I think a lot of the Chiefs' offense. I think a lot of their success, a lot of their points really come off the second reaction stuff. And if Brandon Staley has a plan for that, then I think the Chargers are going to they're going to win this game. But just me looking at it, from right now, I think that is probably where the Charger defense might want to, focus in this week is the second reaction stuff, because I think the Chargers are good enough to really stifle this Chiefs offense. Obviously, right, Tyreek Hill is not there anymore. They still have Travis Kelce. They still have a bunch of weapons. And Andy Reid, obviously, is one of the best play callers in all of football. So this defense needs to travel. I think the Chargers are matching up very well with the Chiefs, especially in the defensive backfield. With the performance that they put on yesterday, I think that they match up very, very well. But as far as scheme goes, it's going to be interesting to see how the Chargers really play this. What do they do? Do they come out in that too high shell that they did last year? They pretty much put the blueprint out there last season of how to slow the Chiefs down. Do they go with that again? Do they go single high? Do they mix up, their coverages? Do they mix up the fronts, right? Do they, bring 5 every single time, right? Do they spy on Mahomes? It's going to be interesting to see how they really, try to stifle Mahomes. I think taking away the easy throws is obviously going to be something they want to do. But we will see how we'll see how they really plan this out. I'm very interested to see the schematics of this game. I'm kind of nerding out over that, but the high-powered offense against a defense who can create pressure and take the ball away, that is definitely a primetime matchup, and that's why it's on Thursday night. It's going to be the first Amazon Thursday night football game, so definitely looking forward to that. But like I said, I'll get more into that as the week goes along. But I just wanted to come on here and just really point some things out that I seen on defense, some of the notes that I took from the game. Very, very good game. And, like I said, we're all happy with the outcome. We're all happy with the result. But it's a short week, and, the Chargers got to, shift their focus to the Chiefs. They got to, play there on Thursday night. So, like I said, we'll go through that as the week goes along. But just wanted to come on here and talk about that for a little bit. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the way out as well, too. I'm going to have much more content throughout the week, so definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for all the support. Shout out to all my new subscribers as well, too. I'll be dropping content every day this week, so can't wait. But until next time, thank you guys for all the support, and I will see you tomorrow.